that we're on Instagram. Hi, everybody. Hi, Desiree. Everybody on Instagram and everybody on Facebook.
Hi, guys. We're just getting started. Give us a couple of minutes to just get it all right.
Listen, so you never know what's going to happen with the two of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It gets crazy.
Okay.
So I have lipstick on my teeth. I can't see.
Okay, so I believe we are, guys, can you see us? Do you see the comments?
Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, let us know that you're seeing and you're hearing us. Great.
Yes, please. That would be amazing. So we can just get to it. I'm just checking a couple of things, guys. We are crazy, so bear with us. We did a test and still
glitches.
I'm not
still glitches. Listen, we're all a work in progress. By week 11, we'll have this down. We'll figure it out.
Yes. Okay. So let's see. I'm trying to figure out how do we see when people comment? I mean, I can see.
You should see it on your dashboard, and then you can just click to add it to the screen.
Yeah.
Do you see it on the dashboard?
It's there, but I don't see. Has anybody commented? I can see people liking.
I haven't seen any comments,
guys.
There are no comments.
Do you mind sending a comment so I can see? This is my first time on this.
Yeah, I did it the last time when we were testing it, so he hasn't had any practice on the dashboard to see how it works. It's a very interesting dashboard.
Between the two of us, she's the intelligent one, so please bear with me.
Listen, this is the blind leading the blind.
Okay, so I believe we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook. I am just checking if we are. Guys, if we are audible, please give us a holler, just say something so we know. Okay, so I can see a couple of likes.
Okay.
I don't see comments. All right, so I think we're good to go. I think we are online, we're live, and people are watching us. So I guess let's begin. And why don't you do the honors? Ladies first, right?
Oh, well, ladies first. Well, I want to welcome everyone to the broadcast. I thank you so much for joining us for this series called Women Unleashed. We're so excited to have you join us. And in this first inaugural premiere episode, Szebastian and I are actually going to interview one another. We're going to, just so that you can get to know a little bit more about me and you can get to know a little bit more about you, because my audience doesn't necessarily know you other than your crazy comments on my Facebook posts. And your audience is just getting to know me. So we wanted to do this first episode as a sort of introduction to who we are and what we bring business-wise as well as personally. And then we will have a lineup of guests for the next 11 weeks of really powerful, extraordinary women that you can be inspired by, that you can be encouraged in whatever situation you're in, that you can find some strength and hope. And please, reach out to us. Let us know if there's anyone that you'd like us to highlight, to interview. Alicia, there's one of them right there. Yeah.
Hey, Alicia. Glad to have you on board.
We want to be able to use this platform as a way to help women elevate themselves, elevate their voice, elevate their message, and just go out there in the world and make transformations and changes that you want to see happen. Because there is a beautiful world out there, and we just want to spread the love, spread the beauty, spread the joy, so there's not always negative news that you're getting. So that's why we're here.
Absolutely. And speaking of beauty, where do I begin? I remember the first time I watched you on Facebook Live. It was broadcast, and I had recently friended you. And I thought, oh, she will go places when she grows up. You know, I was thinking she's much younger than me. And, you know, she's such a bright young girl. And without realizing, you were not 25 as I thought. And, well, I thought you were 25. I was convinced you were.
And you're still convinced I'm 25. You're still convinced. You're trying to convince me that I'm 25.
Well, I'm pretty sure you know the TV series Younger. Yes. I think you're pretending to be older when you're not. So I'm sure you get this reaction a lot. You know, so I'm gonna ask you a very, very cliche question.
Okay.
What's your secret?
Well, you got to get my book. You got my book.
I have your book.
I wrote it.
I still don't believe you. And I still don't believe you.
You know, I wrote that book, Age Younger, 21 Tips to Make Your 40s Look Like Your 20s, because I did get that question a lot. But yeah, you thought the same, Alicia. That's funny. But yeah, I am not 25. I am 49. I'm almost 50. And, you know, I don't know, other than great genes and taking care of yourself, what else could be the secret?
And guys, I still do not believe her. I do not believe her. So yeah, and I read your book, and you know, your book makes a lots of sense. It's really just common sense. It's nothing. It's not a rocket science. It's not something we don't know.
Not a magic pill.
No, and you know, as people say, there is no secret. The only secret is, are you just looking after yourself as you should have anyway?
Are you doing things you should be doing? And it's not difficult. Yeah. It's not hard. It's just a lifestyle that you adopt.
Everything I read in that book, I was like, oh yeah, I do that. I do that. Oh yeah, I know that, but I don't do that, you know? And oh yeah, I know that too, but I don't do that. Why don't I do that? That's so easy. You know, the entire book. And the fun thing is, it was such an easy read. It was such, you know, it was such a breeze. Oh, hi, Cheryl. Cheryl is my American mother.
Thank you, Cheryl.
I know.
I appreciate that.
She's my American mother. So hi, Mom. Glad you joined.
Cheryl.
So yeah, and you know, I was just like surprised at things that you had written. I was expecting you're going to talk about serums, you're going to talk about beauty products, and you're going to talk about, you know, when I picked up that book, and pardon me, but typical male reaction, like, yeah, it's going to be all about makeup and products and
me, yeah, and I'm not going to do any of that stuff.
My first reaction was, I'm a male. How is this book going to help me, you know? And barely 2 or 3 pages down, and it's like, oh my God, this makes a lot of sense. I know all this. I just don't do it.
Like your thoughts, you know, what's your thoughts?
Also things that I was already doing. I just thought, oh yes, I do that. And that's the difference, you know, that's what I do.
But you look phenomenal too. So you look fabulous. Well, I won't say your age because, you know.
Well, that's the fun part.
I don't care. I say my age every day. My son says my age to everybody he knows.
Neither do I. And guys, this is, I don't know, it's just a coincidence that I've never been asked publicly my age, but I've been stopped, like Alicia, I've been stopped quite a few times, and I've been told by people 5 or 6 years younger than me that I should start, you know, I should start acting my age before I turn 30. And they were calling me kid, and I just had to tell them, well, you know, you're calling me kid, that's okay. But you were the one I helped your mother change nappies off, and yeah. I'm actually 5 years older than you,
right?
So, and guys, I'm 40. This December, I'm gonna be 41, and so there you go. You know, it's not a secret. I don't hide it, but yes, I've never said it as well so loud. So I'm 40, you're 49, and we are what we say. Well, this is what young 40s look like.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's a mental attitude. It's how you take care of yourself. You know, it's not difficult, but you can pick up the book and still find out the tips that I have, at least, and add them to your tips and you know, create your own regimen. So.
Absolutely. And I'm going to put the link down after the show, so you'll be able to get the book on
Amazon.
Yeah, you can get
the great gift for the holidays.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, here's another question that comes to my mind, talking about, looking younger and not looking your age and beauty and secrets and everything. Another question that really bothers me is, you've got a family with 3 children. And,
does that bother you? I know you like, how could you have 3 children?
No, what bothers me is one of your children is 21.
Yes.
And you look 25, So you've got a family of 3 children. You've got a line of beauty products. You've got a personal branding ventures. You are a personal branding expert. And you're the founder of Red Carpet CEO. How did you ever manage to do all of it and still look so amazing and be so inspiring? What's your journey been like?
Well, my journey, I did spend time when my children were younger, my girls especially, because I have 2 girls and my son is 10 years old. And so the younger part of their lives, I spent a lot of time with them. And my actual business side, I didn't start until a little bit later, until my mid-30s. That's when I really started getting into business, when they were off to school and they were kind of more independent and they didn't really need me that much. And so that was a choice that I had, and was able to make that decision to kind of take care of them while they were younger. And then now, as they're older, that I'm able to start my career and my businesses and do those things. So that's kind of how my life balanced out. And I've just been fortunate and blessed, super blessed, to be able to still look like this. So, I mean, that's just a blessing of God, I just have to say. And
well, as I say this, please look at me. I need to know the secret serum they're using.
I'll never.
So tell me about Alicia's audacious confidence. What was that all about?
Oh, audacious confidence. That's a great question, and I'm actually going to segue some of that into you, because I'm
nervous now.
No, don't even be nervous, because the first book I wrote, called Your Signature Style: Unlocking the Confidence, Style, and Influence of the Savvy CEO. That one really helped. That one really showed part of my journey, because I was insecure. I didn't have a lot of confidence. I seemed like I had a lot of confidence, like I can seem put together and confident. But in looking back at my life, I realized how much insecurities I did have, and how it affected the opportunities that came my way, because I didn't feel like I was either worthy enough, good enough, strong enough. I didn't feel like I could take advantage of those opportunities because of my lack of confidence. And so once I started becoming aware of that, and once I realized that those limiting beliefs that I had were holding me back, and I see it so much, I see it so often, especially with women in business, and even as a professional makeup artist, when I would do my clients, I would see how much their confidence would shift when they started looking and feeling better about themselves. Once they looked in the mirror when I was finished, and there was a difference, there was a little shift that happened. And I started to really dig deeper into that and investigate that and apply it to myself. Because even though I was seeing it every day with my clients, I still, there's my cousin. Hey, Jillian. That's my cousin, Jillian.
Hey, Jillian.
And so when I started becoming aware of every time that little voice or that little feeling of insecurity popped up, then I would challenge it and ask, where is that coming from? Is that truth, or is that just a perception, or is that somebody else's voice that I'm hearing from my childhood telling me that I'm never going to be good enough, or I'm never going to be smart enough? Where is that coming from? And once I can identify where it's coming from, I can get rid of it and reframe it and shift it, and then step into who I want to be and how I want to show up without having that feeling. And that's audacious confidence. That's being bold. Because in my story, when I tell my story about my childhood, Jillian knows this, I was a very audacious, bold, and outspoken little child who was always told to be quiet because I always put my 2 cents in everybody's business that it didn't belong. But something which we'll talk about, maybe not right now, but, you know, when I moved to Australia, things changed for me as a little child, and my voice shut down. And that's where that confidence and that boldness and that audaciousness left me. But once I recognized that, I was able to bring it back in. So that's why audacious, because confidence alone isn't all you need. You need some boldness to be to do the things you want to do and get where you want to go. You have to be bold and confident. And so you had a little bit of a breakthrough. So I'm just going to jump into that because you asked me, where does audacious confidence come from? And I want to ask you the same question because, like I said, we both had challenges with our voice, losing our voice because of bullying or because of misunderstandings. We've both lost our voices. And how has your journey to regaining your voice? How did that happen?
Well, that's actually an interesting question because I kind of lost and regained my voice twice in my life. You wouldn't believe it, but as a child, my parents were very liberal, very outgoing, very supportive. Yet I was the quietest child you could have known. For years, my teacher did not know if I was present in the class or not.
Oh, wow.
And this is the funny part. If a teacher wanted to punish a child, they would ask them to sit next to me because I didn't talk.
Oh, wow.
I did not talk. I did not answer any questions. I wasn't a bad student. I wasn't mischievous. I was very obedient in everything, and I did all my things. But the thing is, you would not have heard a word from me. Half the class never knew what my name was. They did not know. If somebody asked, so who is is this guy in this class? People didn't know. They would look at each other like, who's that? Who's that? And if I gently raise my hand, that's me. And so my first breakthrough I had in my 10th grade. I was in a very good school. I enjoyed being there. But as you said, from early on, I just had a single friend, a female friend as a child. And we were always together. We would not hang out with anybody else. We would just, do everything together, lunch together, study together. And actually I was, I think until the age of 7 or 8, I was chatty, I was talkative and everything. And then she had, her parents got transferred, and my parents and her parents knew that we were so attached that if we were told that she's going to leave the school, and she's going to be going far away, we're going to create a scene. It's going to be a massive drama. So they didn't tell us, and one fine day she stopped coming, and that's when I lost my voice. I was quiet, I just lost my voice. My best friend was gone. She was my everything. And, you were too young to know what that is. We just know that we just hung out together. And until year 10, I did not get that voice back. And the thing is, what brought my voice back wasn't something good. It was something entirely bad. In year 10, I got bullied a lot. I got beaten, I got insulted, I got mocked at, I got, punched and everything. I went to the teachers to get help, and they wouldn't believe me. It's amazing how bullies can create an image that you cry wolf, you're not really in trouble. You're just saying that you are.
Right.
And one fine day, how it really happened is, one fine day I had enough. I was being punched, I was being insulted in the playground, and there's like hundreds of kids ogling and, really encouraging the bullies to harass me more. And suddenly, from nowhere, from being a very quiet child and just quietly going in a corner and just trying to avoid them and hide from them, suddenly, after around 15, 20 minutes of, getting insulted and everything, I screamed. I said, enough, shut up, And I just said to them in front of everybody, this minute onwards, from now, you don't dare touch me. You don't speak to me like that. You don't harass me. And if you do, I tell you what, I will raise my hand. And when I raise my hand, it's going to be bad. I didn't know if I was violent. And I can tell you, I've never been violent, but I had enough. And something in me, something in me just said, what? You're the only one who can fight this. And the thing is, as you say, audacious, what happened to me was in that moment,
you took your power back.
I took my power back and I just said to myself, I am capable. I can speak. I love to act. I love to participate in so many things at school. I'm good at what I do. I receive awards. The only thing is, I do it when I'm doing it on the stage. But that means I am capable and I'm a good speaker and I'm a good orator. So I am just going to not have this anymore. And I screamed and I walked away, and it's amazing. Nobody dared to then touch me that very minute.
Because you spoke out and you stepped up for yourself.
Yeah. And I was adamant, and I told my parents, I want to change my school. I do not want to be in this school. I changed my school. It wasn't a great experience. I didn't like where I was. I dropped out for a year.
Listen, school is tough. School is tough. It is. But, most kids, it's tough. If you're that, superstar athlete, whatever, school is great. The cheerleader, the whatever. But I think for most kids, or if you're like the brilliant, intelligent one that just gets everything. But there are a lot of kids that are struggling in school to fit into something and to belong and to kind of make their way.
It's a frame given to them that they have to be in. School is a system, and the thing is, I've got to say this: the most education I've got in my life is out of the system. Out of the system, yeah. It's away from the books. It's away from the degrees. It's away from diplomas. It has been on the streets. It has been amongst people. It has been, and I'm going to say this, I haven't said this in public ever before. The most I learned in my life is when I was homeless. That's when I learned what life is. That's when I learned what my strengths were. So, that's how my first breakthrough came. And, my life changed. I started participating in everything. And as you said, it was about being bold. And suddenly I was a different person. Yeah. And I loved the attention.
I'm just saying hi on Instagram, just so you know, we haven't forgotten you. And on Facebook, hi. As we're just chatting away here. But bring up a really important point, and because this whole topic today, we're talking about who are you? And I just want to jump into that for a second, because we talked about school, and a lot of times in school, you lose your identity, or you create an identity just to be liked or to be accepted. And then you kind of continue along that path throughout your life without really knowing who you are. And sometimes you start just being known for the roles that you play in your life. You're a daughter or a son, you're a wife or a husband, you're a good employee or a boss, you're a mother, or a father. And you get good at the roles that you're playing, but you never tap into who am I really? And what do I really, what is the power inside of me? And sometimes people live their whole life. They go through their whole life not ever questioning what is the power that is inside of me? Who am I really? And instead of what do I do, or who is important in my life? Who do they see me as? But who am I? And we wanted to address that for a second. So if you want to ask any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. we are going to, if we don't get to your questions, we are going to go back and answer any question that you had. We're going to make sure that we, you know, look at all the comments and answer any questions. But the question
we are good at reacting. We're good at responding.
Yes. The question about who am I, we can start with really, how do you see yourself? You know, how do you see yourself? So I'm going to pose that question to you, because as personal branding, both of us do branding on some level, right? In our professional business, we do branding on some level. And that is a really important question to ask our clients, because as we build out their brand for them, we want to make sure that it's staying authentic and true to who they are, and or what it is that the narrative that they want to represent to their customers or the people who are engaging with them. So I'm asking you that question. Who are you outside of the roles that you play?
Well, the first thing that I would say to that is that the biggest challenge I have, and lots of, you know, almost every client I've met, is the thing. First thing is we try to be something that is expected of us. You know, we don't even try to find who we are. That's the biggest hassle. Sorry, that's the biggest hurdle. We don't even try to learn who we are. We don't even try to find who we are. We are told, we have been given the labels, we have been given the stereotypes, we have been told what we are supposed to be. Do you know what I mean? Like we grow up learning the system, who we are supposed to be, and either, you know, most of us,
the behavior.
Absolutely. How you're supposed to behave, how you're supposed to be. A man has to be this, a woman has to be this, a girl has to be this, a boy has to be this. And, you know, and you come from such a family, so you're supposed to be doing certain things in your life, all that. And so we don't even, oftentimes in our lives, we don't even ask the question that, is this who I am? You know, is this what my journey is? And that's, you know, that's the biggest challenge. That's the first thing that I did not realize for a very long time in my life. And the thing is, when I realized who I am, it helped me. And it's not about realizing, you know, I'm a male and I'm, you know, I love talking, or I love training people and all that. It's about what really inspires me. You know, what drives me to do what I do. You're not going to believe it. I started my career in a totally different field. I was a trainer in technology, and then suddenly I was an IT journalist, and then suddenly I was an admin clerk. So I've done lots of things, and I've been a, you know, I've been a bartender, I've been a first aider, but I didn't really know what I really wanted to do with my life until I jumped into branding, because branding is not, it's for me, it's not about logos and this and that. It's about identifying what my voice is. What is the message that I want to convey to people? And that's when I realized who I am is a person who wants to listen to stories, who wants to convey those stories to the broader community, and who wants to tell people how to believe in yourself, how to trust yourself. And instead of focusing on what does the audience want from you, focus on who you are, what can you deliver, and create an audience who wants that. An audience who wants what you are, an audience who's interested in what you're going to deliver, not, you know, don't focus on delivering.
That's when you're authentic. That's when you can really, you know.
Absolutely, because the thing is, that's when you're not making something up. That's when you're not pretending to be something else. You're actually doing and believing and behaving exactly who you are. And that's when you start connecting with the right people, because they understand you for you, and they take interest in you for you, and the authenticity begins. And
because that's how we met. That's how we ended up meeting. It's because we were we identified with each other's sort of challenges as we opened up. We gained closeness through that, because I mean, you are a male in Australia and I'm a female in Florida. I mean, what you know, is like we're worlds apart. What can we have in common, right? What can we have in common? But as we got to know one another and as we opened ourselves to one another, we realized that we're human beings going through a human experience, and we have so many things in common that connected us and allowed us to find friendship and find respect and honor. We have different political point of views. We have different religious point of views. We have different, you know, there are differences between us.
And that's the thing.
We have differences because we
have such big differences that people in today's world are fighting over them. They're ending the relationships with them, you know. And that's the thing. We were so connecting on things that we related to that mattered. You know, that it did not matter what the differences are, you know. Right,
exactly. You know? Because we had a deeper connection beyond our political views or our religious views or anything like that. And that's the beauty of, again, when you open yourself up authentically to someone, to an audience, that they can relate to your story, to your message, and find hope and come from a place of, and so that's an important point, important part of who you are and your branding, you know, understanding who you are.
Yeah. And I'm going to add one thing here. I'm going to share one thing here. And that's something, that's how my journey changed in approximately year 2006 or 7. I'm not too sure. The first thing about personal branding, the first thing about any branding, and the first thing about authenticity is acceptance to yourself, accepting your fact, you know.
Did you say fact or fat? What did you say?
Fact. Fact. F-A-C-T, fact. Well, even that,
accepted my fat.
Accepting my everything as it is. And that's my point. You know, accepting what I have, accepting what my life is, accepting what my journey is, accepting what's happening to me is the first step. Because the biggest thing that we do wrong in finding who we are is we deny. We deny what's not real. You know, we deny who we are not. And we focus on trying to be. The thing is, we try to be somebody else. We try a lot. We try hard. We are trained and we are given stereotypical thinking that you've got to be like that. You know,
we're trained that we're not good enough. We're trained to believe we're not good enough.
Absolutely. And the thing is, in last around 18 years of my life, one statement that I do not like is when somebody says, you could be like that, you could be like her, you could be like him. And my answer is no, I am going to be like me. Right. Because I am not him. I am not her, you know. So I'm not going to try to be them. I will be me. And if they have something they can relate to, they will, you know, get along with me. If not, we're just going to move on to our journeys. We're going to move on to our path. And so what I believe is accepting your fact is the biggest thing. And I'm sharing this for one reason. Until I accepted a few things in my life, I constantly felt like a failure. I constantly felt under a lot of pressure. Nobody was pressuring me. This is the fun part. Nobody was pressuring me. Nobody was telling me to be this way or that way. Nobody was telling me to behave in a certain way, to live a certain life. But I was doing that.
The pressure of society, really, to do it.
Yeah. And the day I accepted a few things, the day I accepted this is my life, this is my journey, this is what is happening, and this is my truth, I tell you, that was the first day.
It freed you.
I was not unhappy. Do you know what I mean?
You got freedom, because a lot of times we criticize ourselves so harshly. And some of the things that we are critical of are actually our gifts, our unique strengths, our unique gifts. But because others don't recognize it as gifts, we don't recognize it as a gift. But when you recognize it as a gift and you start to hone it and you start to encourage that that gift inside of you, it blossoms, and then people begin to see it as a gift. But if you can't wait for someone to validate you, I think is what you're saying. You can't wait for someone else to validate who you are, and that you are important, and that you are valued, and that it has to start with you. It has to start with you validating you.
Exactly, and then, because the self-doubt that kills you.
Yeah, and it spreads. So when you don't validate who you are, and you're waiting for someone else to validate, you'll be in a mess of trouble. You'll always feel insecure, inferior. You won't feel value, and so
you try to fit into something you're not,
and you continue the stereotype. You continue to try to fit into the role that you're placed in, instead of really authentically being you. And I'm just going to plug one thing really quickly, if I can, because
absolutely.
One of the assessments, I guess I could say an assessment junkie at one point, probably about 5 years ago. I used to take all these different assessments that tell you who you are, because I was in search. I was searching, and I was in search of who I am. And so I would take all these different assessments and look at it and say, oh yeah, and yeah, I could see that, and I could see this. But about 3 or 4 years ago, I took one assessment that's not about personality or IQ or anything. I took this assessment, and it was called the Couri assessment, and it assessed your natural wiring, your innate instincts. How do you do things? How do you strive? How do you solve problems? And the thing about the Couri assessment was that it freed me so much when I looked at that, because a lot of things that I saw in myself as a weakness, because I was told that was a weakness, Couri tells you that it's a strength, and then shows you how to appropriate it as a strength, and that it's needed and it's valued, and that it's something that is necessary for society to continue. Because we all cannot be clones. We all can't do things the same way. We're not wired to do things the same way. And when you start to understand, wait a minute, we all can't be super organizer like Miss Laura Savino, Laura Savino. We can't all be super organizers that know how to put things together. Some of us are messy. Some of us are disorganized. But
some of us find order in chaos.
That is what I'm trying to say. Our disorganization is a wiring, and it's chaos theory. It's necessary to be able to challenge the status quo. It's necessary to be able to disrupt things that are going in a certain way. So when you start looking at yourself as, you know what, I'm a chaos theorist. I'm a disruptor. I'm not meant to be linear. I'm not meant to be like everything organized, everything in this place, that place, that place. There are people that are wired to be like that. And there are people who are wired to be disruptive. And when you can embrace and use your disruption for good instead of evil, then it becomes a strength. And then then you're able to see yourself very differently.
Absolutely.
Yes, Alicia, set your mind to self-acceptance. I love that.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying, Alicia. That's what my journey has been, that the minute you start accepting your truth, when you start accepting, this is me, this is my reality. So anything else I'm saying is really BS, pardon my language. But, it's not who I'm, what I'm pretending is not really me. The minute you accept that, it becomes so much easier.
Your life becomes
actually see it, to live it.
And to be you. Just to be you, because now you're not trying to live up to anything or up to anybody else's standards. You're just trying to be, being who you are.
The weight goes off your shoulders, and you don't feel obligated to behave according to what is expected of you. And the thing is, you become powerful enough to actually say, well, this is me. Take it or leave it. And the good thing is,
I want to asterisk just for a second, because this is not a license to hurt anybody or a license to do behave however you want or do whatever you want. We're just saying be authentic to who you are, but don't. Yeah, it's not a license to just go and be a jerk. Exactly. Well, this is just who I am.
And that's what we talked about earlier. My bullies, it doesn't allow you. It doesn't give you a permission and license to go and bully people. But when we say you are who you are, is that's another thing I learned in my life much later, is that you can be you, but there's one thing you need to understand. And I've written an article about, I'm an atheist and you are religious. So I've written an article about, I've written an open letter to my fellow atheists saying you don't have to be a douchebag to religious people for no reason.
Because you don't believe in God. You don't have to you don't have to like throw dirt on somebody else to make you feel better about your beliefs.
It's absolutely okay that I don't believe in what you believe in, Alicia. But the fact is, for that, I have no reason to come to you and start attacking you and start, insulting you and start hurting you just because you don't believe in what I believe. Because isn't that what I'm expecting of you? That you don't hurt me because I don't believe in what you believe,
Right.
So, like I said, it's not a license.
I don't beat you over the head with the Bible every time we talk, But
exactly.
If you're going through something, I do say I'll pray for you, and you say, even though I don't believe in the same way, I appreciate you reaching out and praying for me. I appreciate that you think enough of me to pray for me, and so that's how our relationship with what we believe, how we respect each other's beliefs, and he doesn't say, "Oh, don't even pray for me because I don't believe in that." Because he respects me enough to say, well, I used to. Right.
I used to, because again, we're talking about the boxes. So when I started coming out of the boxes and I went into this atheist box, so I was also trying to fit into being an atheist and be a specific kind of atheist. But over the years, I realized, no, I am me. And the fact is, I am an atheist. I don't believe in the concept of God and religion and everything. But what I believe is, and the thing is, I have read Bible, I have read Quran, I have read Guru Granth Sahib, I've read Hindu scriptures. There's one message that I got from all of them, which is where, even though I'm not a believer, what I believe is all of them teach you one thing: be kind, love one another, and just be peaceful.
Yeah.
And that's something I believe in. That's something I do believe.
And so right.
I'm sidetracking. I actually want to ask you a question. Okay. I believe you. I believe you are Couri certified. Am I right? So what's that certification like? Can anybody do that? Can I do it?
Anybody can become Couri certified. Yes. You do have to go to a 3-day Couri training to learn how to consult after someone has taken the test. So like anybody could go take their Couri assessment. Anybody can take it. What the certified consultant does then is help you really understand your strengths and use them, because a lot of times the things that you are strong in, people have told you are a weakness that you have to strengthen or change about yourself in order to be acceptable or to be, worthy or good or whatever it is. So a lot of times you may get the results and actually not even know how do I now use this in my life? Because I understand what it's saying, but I don't get it as a strength. For instance, I'll give you a quick, for instance, let's say there's an action mode called quick start, which means that, it is risk and uncertainty. Whether you're someone who will be taking risks, who is good at taking risks and can really is someone like that, or someone who resists taking risks. And as an entrepreneur, a lot of people say, oh, you have to be a risk taker. You have to take risks. You have to dive in and just go and jump out the plane and build a parachute on your way down. And there are some people that scares the daylights out of them. And they would think, well, I cannot be an entrepreneur if I can't take risks. But they will continue to tell you, you have to take risks. You have to take risks. So when you get your score back and you realize, wait a minute, I'm risk averse. Does that mean I can't be an entrepreneur? Or does that mean I'm bad at all these other things that everybody says I need to be able to be risky at? No, it just means that you have different parameters or different things that you have to go through before you can take a risk, so that it's not as risky for you in your mind But that's a strength, because now you can go into an industry where safety is a main concern, because you don't want someone inspecting an aircraft that is a risk taker, do you? No, you want someone who will do all the checks and say, yes, this plane is safe. You can go up and fly. Not someone will say, good luck. I don't know.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so it's understanding now that who you are, how you're made up, and how you're wired, there is an advantage to that. And there is benefit to it. And that is a strength. And so now, instead of you feel recoiling when someone says you need to take a risk, and you start, the hairs in your back of your neck start, and your heart starts racing and your palms get sweaty and you're like, I can't, you know, now you can.
That's not me. That's just not me.
That's just not me. But this is how I do it. This is what makes sense for me. And this is how it becomes less risky, and it's a great opportunity. So again, it's just, that's how the consultant now takes your score and is able to interpret it for you, so that you can see now yourself as a strength and not as everybody else might put it on you as a weakness. Does that make sense?
Right. Absolutely. And I'll give you very quick 2 examples on that line, and you know how that helps in identifying yourself. How it helps me, and I'm assuming you know you'd agree, helps me to identify what my clients' strengths are, who they really are, before I take them on, and what I need to do for them. There's 2 different clients I will talk about. In fact, one is my colleague, not client, an ex-colleague. This gentleman was an introvert, and until I met him, I did not understand what introversion is, and I had the standard stereotypical image that introverts are reserved, they don't like to talk to people, and they are rude and all that. You know, the stereotypical thing that they're not friendly is what I.
They're not friendly. They're not outgoing, and
And after working with him for 2 years, what I realized is not only an introvert can be a lot of fun, can be a lot of, can work really effectively, and be a very effective part of the team. And so he was outstanding team member. Through him and through discussing with him, questioning him, having lots of discussions, what I learned was that, you know, an introvert is just a person who likes his or her own company more than anything else.
Right.
You know, they just like to be in their space. They are still creative. They can do so many things that you can't even believe, just like you can do them. They just don't like doing it in a group. They just don't like doing it in a, you know, and it's not about liking or disliking. That's just not who they are. And based on that, and I was speaking to Daphne, who we will discuss very soon, based on that, I changed my entire office. Everybody was given an option to have their desk their way. If somebody wanted a cubicle, they get a cubicle. If somebody wanted a couch and a table to be, coffee table to be their office, that's what they got. And if somebody wanted, regular computer desk and everything, that's what they got. And, the thing is, when we accepted everybody for who they were, our office became a really happy place. It was a place we started enjoying a lot more. Everybody felt at home. So that was the thing. And second, a client quickly I will talk about is he's a very flamboyant guy. He's out there. He doesn't filter what he says.
I know.
He had a couple of, in fact, 2-3 different public relations experiences. Where either he gave up or they gave up because it just wasn't working for them. Either he was too out of control for them or they were too restricting for him. So it just wasn't working, and as you say, talk about the Couri assessment. What I did with him was I said, mate, this is what we're going to do. This is your space. This is your profile. You post whatever you like. You say whatever you like. You post whenever you like. However, the part that we are managing, we're going to focus on what you want to sell. We're going to focus on what you want to tell the people. We're going to focus on your message, and you focus on who you are, and we'll make sure that it's a combination of who you are and a combination of your message. And the fun thing is, first time this client actually left me in a month because he had those bad experiences and he wasn't sure. He felt like we're going to control him as well and everything. And he came back after 1 year and he said, I think I want to try. I've seen some more of your work since then, and I want to try this. And now he's been a client for almost a year, and he's already said that he's going to renew next year for one reason. We don't stop him from what he does. We don't tell him how to behave, right. And we don't tell him, don't dress like this, don't speak like this, We do our thing, he does his thing. And the good thing is his brand is thriving now. Yeah. He's getting big celebrities coming on his shows. He's getting invitations on awards, and he's getting invitation for different radio shows, TV shows, and everything. And he's absolutely
for everybody. There is, just because it's not your cup of tea doesn't mean it's not somebody else's cup of tea. And
the fun part is,
but you may not be like him, but people love him, and so you find your niche. Just like you say, be yourself and deliver to the people who you are, and they'll love you for it. So
exactly. And now he has met so many other people who are interested to work with him, interested in working with him because they are like him. Mm-hmm. And they're a hit show.
You find your tribe. You find the like people.
They're a hit show. They're getting a lot of traction. They're happy. And week after week, he tells my team, I love you guys. I love you guys. And it's like, it's overwhelming how much he trusts us now. Now, the thing is, he literally says, you do what you think is right for my brand, and I'll just do it.
And I'll just do it. Now he trusts. Now he's got trust in you.
He's the same guy who was...
We got 4 minutes. I want to make sure that we don't keep people much longer than we said we were going to be. And so 3 minutes now. So we wanted to touch on Daphne really quickly. You go ahead. And because she's possibly our next guest next week.
Yes, Daphne, first of all, I have to thank you. If you're seeing this or if you will be watching this later on, I have to thank you. That was my second breakthrough. I used to go on, 6 years ago, we did not have live. We did not have, Facebook Live and everything. But I used to make my own videos on YouTube, and I used to post them and everything. And something happened, some kind of bullying situation. And I stopped doing all of that. I deleted everything. I got very upset. I deleted everything, And then I tuned into one of your live talks with Daphne, talking about her book. And can you remind me the name? I think it's the Dialogue of Authenticity.
Dialogue of Authenticity.
Yeah. So she was talking about the book, and she said a couple of things that just went in here and directly in my heart. And I was like, that's what has been stopping me. The 2 things she said was, I don't care. People tell me what my accent is. I don't care what my accent is.
She's like, I'm Jamaican and I don't care.
Yes, this is what I look like. This is what I sound like. This is me. And that was the moment I was like, yes, this is me, and I want to do shows. And here we are, we're doing this show. So authenticity, and that's what I said, accepting yourself, accepting your truth. That's all authenticity. And that's what Daphne did for me. And and we just recently had 2 hours call together, and I've been so happy talking to her. So, Daphne is an amazing, Daphne Clark Hudson. She's an amazing soul. She helps you understand who you really are, why you should just be yourself, be authentic you. Don't try to be somebody else. As we've been talking about, who are you? So once you identify who you are, you just are a better person. You are a free person. And so next week, we're going to have Daphne. We're going to talk about her book. We're going to talk about her journey. And, and one thing she said was, you can start any time in your life.
She's 70. Have a break in her 70s, and she's going strong. And so there's no limit.
Absolutely. It's not about the age. It's not about the number. It's about how you feel. And it's about what you want to do.
Yes. And how do you want to impact this world that we live in? So
absolutely.
This hour has gone by super fast. We've talked about
I know.
Stuff. Half the questions that we had listed, we haven't even gotten to. So
we need our own personal show just to talk about us.
I know. You know what? We talk on Skype and on Facebook messages so much that we should just record that and post it because it's hilarious.
It should be Alicia and Szebastian real time.
Yeah, we need our own reality show. Seriously. I don't know how they'll do it.
Absolutely.
Because, again, you're all the way on the other side of the world to me, but you know, it'll be fun anyway.
Hey, Fox is in both countries, so you know we can do a deal.
All right, so cool. Are you listening, Fox? Yeah. So this has been us. This has been Women Unleashed. I hope you got some value out of it. Next week, like we said, we're going to be talking to Daphne Clark-Hudson, and we have an amazing lineup of women. And we invite you to, you know, share with us anyone that you believe, because, you know, this is just our first season. There's nothing saying that we can't do a second, third, fourth season of shows. So, you know, if there's a woman that's inspiring, that inspired you, that you'd like us to reach out, like interviewed, please, drop in or me. Can you link the link? You can email us, put it on Instagram and put it on Facebook. So you can email us. What is it?
It's studiob@dromaniac.com. I'm just going to quickly drop that in.
Dromaniac.com. And or just leave a comment in the show notes, and we will be sure to respond to that. So how do we sign this off? We never talked about a sign off. We're going to just we just love you guys. We thank you for joining us, whether you were here live with us or if you're on replay. We just really appreciate you, and we really love everything that you're doing.
Oh, sorry, Chrissy. I'm sorry you couldn't tune in right and you just found us. But you know, the replays are going to be there, so I'm going to put all the links and everything, so you'll be able to watch it again. And this has been amazing, guys.
We'll be here again next week, this same time, this same channel, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be here.
Yeah.
For those of you from the 70s, same bat time, same bat channel.
Absolutely.
I'm showing my age. When I talk about stuff.
25? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back next week with Daphne Clark-Hudson, and we'll be sharing some amazing stories from Daphne. And yeah, I think this is us.
Yes, love you. Yeah. On Facebook and on Instagram. Love you guys.
Instagram, Facebook. See you soon.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.